Welcome back everyone. Today what we're going to be looking at is taking backgrounds out of portraits so that then you can use them to place in another new background that you'd like. So as you can see here is an example of one that I've already done, and you can tell that it's transparent because of the checkered background that you see there. So I'll just show you what I mean by transparent. So if I click on layer 1 here, and I've just got another background open. I'm going to drag that down, click on my move tool. You don't have to do this, but I'm just showing you. Close that off. See how there is a background now I can put behind her. So that means I've got that image, and see how she's transparent. So if you see those grid, if you see that grid, that means that it's transparent, and you can do that. So you can also move her around if you wanted to, for example. Okay, without the background changing. So that's the goal of today, so let's get into it. Okay, we're going to go File, Open. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to encourage you, when you're first doing it, to take some portrait shots with just a really plain background. It's much easier to cut things out with a plain background. It's very hard to get a really nice flat white background without any shadow or change in color tone. You can see that here it's not all one shade, the background. Often that's why you use a green screen. So if you have a green background, that's really much easier to cut out than even this white here, because this white is quite close to her skin tone. So that's going to make it a little bit trickier. Whereas if we had green screen behind, the green would be very different than her skin tone, and it would be super duper easy to cut it out. But anyway, this is more reality. Like this is, if you're setting it up at home or at school or something like that, to take an image that has just got a color behind it. So let's go from here. So the first thing we're going to do is to unlock the background. So click the unlock, it turns into 0 layer. You're then going to duplicate that layer by clicking OK. Or Control J is the shortcut for duplicate layer. Alright, so we've got 2 layers there. The reason why you do 2 layers is just in case you stuff it up and we don't have to reopen it all from the start. You don't have to. So clicking on our top layer, the eye off the bottom one, so it ultimately will be see-through. Clicking on a top layer, you know you're on the top layer when it is blue. Now, as I showed you if you watched the previous video on cutting out the wire, we need to up the contrast a little in this so we can give her skin tone a chance to look a little bit different in comparison to the background. How do you do this, you ask? You go to levels, of course, so that means you just simply go Control L, and that's a shortcut for your levels, or image adjustment levels. So here we work with this is your black slider, your medium tones, and your white shades. Pump the black up a little, and I do this with nearly every photo, as I've said before. Go down with that mid-tone there a little bit. We don't want to lose her face too much though. And lighten it up. Okay, that's a little better. We'll go okay. I don't want to overdo it, over push it, because I don't want her face tones to look too unnatural. So I'll just show you then the difference. So I just put the eye on the bottom one, and I'll click off the top one. That's without levels. That's with levels. So you can see the contrast of the image is greatly improved. So do that with all your photos. That makes them look better. So clicking on the top layer in the layers palette, on the top layer with the blue on the top, we're going to start cutting out this picture. Now to my eye, this white does not look all consistent, so I can't just click one select color and cut it all out. So what I like to do is do it in bits. So what we're going to do first is go over the hair, because that's pretty brown, so that won't be too hard to cut out. So I'm going to use my lasso tool here, and what I've done is just gone around her hair a little bit, but mostly the background. Then I'm going to select color range. What this does is isolates color. It's not letting me select it. Why? Because I'm not clicked on a layer. You can see how I'm not clicked on a layer. So click on the layer. See how it didn't work because I wasn't clicked on a layer? So click on the layer. Now it'll work. Select color range. Remember last time we looked at eyedroppers? So this is going to pick up the top color. So click on that. And remember the fuzziness is how much of the color it's going to pick up. So we're going to go quite high with that, but we do want to get some of that hair in still. Go okay. Now that is now going to nicely cut out around her head. So, sorry, I just unselected then, so just reselect Control X to cut it out. So now I've cut out that background. Part 1, I'll just turn the eye off the bottom one so we can see that that's now the grid. Okay, Control plus, and we'll have a look down at this side. This is easy because that will cut out quite easily against this black. So what I'll do is we'll just do a chunky cut first. So I've just highlighted around there. Select color range. See how it's only giving me that area box because that's where I selected. With my eyedropper, click in there. If I need another tone, click plus. It's looking pretty good. Go OK. Should just give me around that shoulder. Yep. Control X. Beautiful. Easy, huh? Instead of trying to draw around it. Much easier. Okay, so now I'm going to do a bit more tricky with her face. I'm going to go quite close to the edge because I don't want any of those light peachy tones of her face going to get highlighted when I do the rest of this. So I've just gone around quite closely there. Select color range, eyedropper. Yeah, that's looking good. Okay. Control X. Beautiful. It's nearly done. Hold your space bar down, move it over. Lasso. Around. I'll just go behind the ear there. Select color range, eyedropper. Excellent. Control X to cut it. If you don't remember Control X, go Edit, Cut. You can see the shortcut there. And the final piece of the puzzle. Around this brown, I'm avoiding the peachy bit of in the hair at the front. Around her earlobe carefully. Round to join it up. Select color range. Hit the eyedropper tool. Beautiful. Okay. Control X. There we have it. So now you have a portrait that is transparent to your background. So then you can put any background you like behind it. And it's the same thing as a green screen uses. So we'll show you the first one. That was that one. Now I've got the transparent. So just get rid of that first layer there. So we've got one layer and it's transparent. Fantastic. So once that's done, you just press File, Save As. And you can save it as a PNG. That's the best file to save it as until if you want a smaller file, you might save it as a JPEG or a bitmap. But PNG is the industry standard. And I'll just type in portrait. So you can see how I did that one there. Final see-through. So now, every time you open that, that'll have a see-through background. And then you can use it for heaps of things. So good luck with that. Take your own portrait. Try and get some good lighting on the subject. And don't be too far away from the subject either, or use a zoom a little bit. Nice clear background, green if you've got it. Even green paper is good. Makes that process a lot easier. So we had to do several goes to try and get that. And there you have it. How simple is that? Now you can use it a lot. Good luck, and again, show me what you've done. Put it up on my YouTube. I'd love to see some images, portraits that have got that done, and also show me some of the effects that you're then using it for. Until then, happy Photoshopping.